Ladies and gentlemen, today a prominent person in Singapore has actually made this comment that the next economic crisis will make the 2008 financial crisis very, very small. So this is a stern warning of an impending crisis to come by a prominent person. I will tell you who he is and also add on all the other comments by other stock market bears and what we should do in preparation of a possible imminent crash. Let's watch on, shall we? To start off, better put a usual disclaimer that this is not a prediction or forecast. This is a risk readiness briefing. The objective is getting ourselves prepared, not anticipating when the crash will come. But it is true that someone has actually warned that the next global rebalancing will be bigger than 2008 financial crisis. Our former Singapore foreign minister and a great thinker, George Yeo, came out and made such a statement which shocked me. Usually he touches only geopolitics and more about the status of China, global relationship and so on. But this is the first time I see a vocal authority like him actually make a economic prediction, and I thought that was really surprising. This is what he actually said. The next global rebalancing likely to dwarf the 2008 financial crisis. And let me just state it categorically clear. 2008 financial crisis was a once in a 50 years crisis. So to hit that kind of stock market crash where the stock market crashed by more than 50%, there was only two in these 100 years. One was in the Great Depression, which is in 1929, and the other one is 2007, 2008. So to say that the next global rebalancing will dwarf 2008 it's a bold prediction. So I think it's worthwhile taking a look at it. So George Yeo, incidentally, if you don't know, was a former Singapore foreign minister. He's a great wise man. I've had lunch with him once, many, many years ago. He's capable of thinking far beyond what commoners like us can do, not from a vested interest kind of person, like let's say a fund manager or so on. But he really speaks about the global system fragility, how things are fragile right now, not from market valuations or economic prediction. So he actually said that the a global economic rebalancing is inevitable. When it comes, it will dwarf the 2008 global financial crisis. My goodness. To have a global financial crisis is once in 50 years. To have something that's bigger than that is one in 100 years. So that's what he's predicting. Okay. Now, why did he say that this crisis could be exponentially worse than the previous one? Is because there are years of excessive liquidity, prolonged quantitative easing, and market dependency now on central bank intervention. A lot of the investors right now have gotten used to central bank bailing them out, in terms of financial crisis. We see the Federal Reserve bailing out in 2008 financial crisis. Okay, we also see them coming in COVID crisis. Sooner or later, everybody just get used to it. And right now, government debts, not just in the US, but across the world, are at historical high, and borrowing is at a record high as well. And he actually state that right now G20 is now dysfunctional. China won't be able to save the world. He itself, CK, no, CK also cannot poach already. So China cannot help himself. And all the blocs are now acting defensively. And I think it's got a lot to do with Trump and his kind of philosophy that he's adopting and get everybody very protectionistic. So what he says basically is, in an environment like this, when you're hit with the next crisis, it goes down like that, straight deep, and it's going to cause a catastrophic outcome. So what he implies is, first of all, liquidity will vanish. There'll be a violent collapse of asset prices, and then there'll be a rapid spread out of shock throughout the whole economy and things like that. And interestingly, he says that gold prices is likely to rise. and continue to rise largely because of this fear. So now that's what he says, and I thought a wise man like him saying something like that catch my eye. Now, I'm going to give you what the other stock market bears are telling us, okay? And I'm going to quote names and things like that and give you a feel of what other people are saying about a possible stock market crash. First of all, I think this is common knowledge that everybody thinks that there's an AI bubble. Right? How can an AI boom so much, right? There is a lot of people now thinking that AI valuations have detached from economic reality, just going out of whack. So right now, the AI bubble predictions are that it will burst in 2006. That's by some people. And AI right now clearly is something very positive for all of us. I'm heavily dependent on AI. And right now, my company is gradually gravitating towards automating our processes and things like that. And if indeed this bubble is so big and suddenly there's an inflation spike or some trigger of some form, a policy error or something like that, this all you need is a small needle prick and the whole bubble will burst. That's the fear of it. So GMO, which is a fund manager research company, which is now predicting that there will be a classic investment bubble. So GMO has predicted every major bubble for 40 years plus. Their track record was pretty good. So they see that this is something like a dot-com excess. Actually, I also can see lah. No, I don't need them to see also. And right now, the extreme valuation that I also see. Okay. And there are concentration risks that everybody see. Actually, everybody agree that all these risks are happening, right? Don't need them to tell us. This one I also know. Right. The question really is when is the bubbles going to burst, right? But they are calling out right now that there's an imminent risk. Ray Dalio, one of the best investors in the world, called this an early stage bubble. He's one of the best hedge fund manager and is most famous for creating the all-weather portfolio. And right now, he actually thinks that stock market right now is in a early phase of a bubble formation. And therefore, they think that things like anything can prick the bubble. Well, this whole cost of a bubble is not just on AI, but also there's a lot of rate cut that's anticipated, easy money coming out, money printing and all this. So he thinks that the bubble could inflate further, but will become extremely fragile and once the policy were to shift suddenly. Michael Burry, the person that's in the show, The Big Short, which is one of the famous person that profited a hell lot from the right bet on 2007 financial crisis. He have now taken a 10 million short position against big AI names like NVIDIA and Palantir, and basically thinks that there is a 35 to 70% downside in some of these stocks by 2026-27. He's not precise on that. So if he thinks that way, just food for thought. Even the Business Times got some consensus from analysts and aggregate them things that there could be a 30% downdraft in S&P 500. Likely window, perhaps in 2026. Of course, that can't be precise. And right now, AI spending is now masking there's a lot of weak consumer sentiment and service sector slowdown and manufacturing contraction. So the whole world is now driven by just AI, but a lot of the other sectors are not doing well, according to them. So I think conclusion is that there's a lot of people believe that one day the bubble will pop. We just don't know when. We hope that we can just ride until just before the bubble bursts and sell, and then we'll be safe, right? Whether we can do that or not, that's another thing. So all the stock market bears believe that right now there's a valuation excess and there's a lot of dependence on central bank support or bailing out if necessary. And geopolitics right now is just across the world is just now fragmented. Everybody is going saving their own skin. So right now there is clearly a big risk. So Mr. Lu, what should we do? One big bear is going to come. Okay. Well, let me say this again and again. I'm just preparing to buy during the crash. Okay, I'm armed and ready. If it doesn't come, I'll just ride the wave. If it does come, I'll fire big shots at this big fat bear. It's all about preparation, and I spend a lot of time live streaming, teaching everybody what we should do during times like this in preparation of a possible stock market crash. Okay, so it's all about preparation, preparation, preparation. So the truth is, I can't predict when the stock market will burst. For sure, one day it will burst, 100%, right? Stock market will certainly crash, okay? I just can't predict when. And maybe the answer is I don't need to know who is right, who is wrong among all these predictors. I just need to know that in the event they are right, I'm ready, okay? And this mindset is important. Now, a lot of people say, no, if I can just sell before it crashes, how am I going to predict that, guys? That's impossible, okay? This kind of market timing is impossible. So compounding requires us to hold on to our position as long as possible, ride out all these ups and downs, but doesn't forbid us to buy during huge crash and profit from it. And let me say again, right? If you can buy during big crashes, you will never lose money, man. You'll never lose money. And that only applies to certain positions and certain stock and certain style investment, which I already share everybody without holding back. I put them in my live stream. I shared with everybody as much as I can really. So it is just waiting, right? So I think I still got probably 2 or 3 videos left that I haven't purged yet. Please go and watch it before I purge it. And moving forward, I will have probably just 2 or 3 more lessons to go before I wrap up the whole series on crash buying. Okay. Let me repeat again. I have no idea when the crash is going to come. And the only thing I could say is if it comes, I'm ready, right? I'm ready. And I'm not just ready with dry powder. I'm psychologically ready. I prepared myself with a heavier hammer concept. I'm training myself with more and more emotional neutrality. Okay. And I understand and I share everybody that I'm going to go into living index and not static and dead index. And I actually know how to calibrate the shots as they come down, right? So everything I've shared, is for you to have a food for thought. And I'll see you in my live stream. Okay. Let's hope that when the time comes, we're all ready. Bye bye.